Hello everyone, Rafiq here from Flying AI. Have you ever wanted to run or chat with a powerful AI directly on your computer without relying on someone else's servers like ChatGPT or Gemini or some other LLM? Well, today we're driving into the world of large language model and exploring how you can run one locally using a fantastic tool called Ollama. So Ollama is a tool that will allow you to run a local model and be able to do all the functionality that you're used to run on ChatGPT, for example, but the only difference it is running completely locally on your computer. It might be a little bit slow, but for the most part it's usable. Of course, there is some minimum requirement, system requirement that is needed for you to be able to run it. But for the most part, you should be able to run it with your current setup. So I will go over system requirement in a bit. For now, let's talk a little bit about Ollama and some of its features. The first and most important feature that a lot of people look for when it comes to LLMs is privacy. And with Ollama, the data stays on your device, which ensures greater level of confidentiality. Another important feature is customization. You can experiment with different models and configurations, and you have a greater extent of customization as opposed to if you were to use ChatGPT, for example. Another important feature is offline access, and without having internet access, you should be able to run your LLM locally depending on the model you choose. But for the most part, you should be able to run the model completely offline. If we were to compare Ollama versus cloud-based LLMs, as I mentioned, the main difference here is the privacy and the privacy concerns, because your data might be used for further training of their models or even shared with other users. So with Ollama, you don't have any of those concerns because your data is locally maintained and there is no concern when it comes to privacy. Another concern is the cost, and with the cloud-based LLMs, you will be incurring significant cost depending on usage, especially if you plan to use a model to run it or train your own data. And with ChatGPT, for example, if you use their API, there is a cost involved in each transaction. So when you run Ollama locally, then it's 100% free, and you can run it as long as you want, as much as you want, without any concerns when it comes to cost. And then I mentioned this already, the reliance on internet connectivity. So that is not a concern with Ollama. Some of the use cases that a lot of people use Ollama for, as I mentioned, one is experimenting with creating new content and new ideas, especially if you're going to use your own data. Pretty much the number of models available in Ollama today, you should be able to do practically anything. You can experiment with generating code snippets. You can practice language translation, brainstorming creative ideas, writing prompts, etc. And also educational exploration, um, for you to learn how these LLM work, experimenting with different models available. And that will open a whole new perspective for you to learn how these LLMs work internally, and um, some of its features, and basically you will open up your horizon to understanding how AI works under the hood. So with that being said, let's get started. And the first thing we're gonna do is jump to Ollama.com website, and here you'll be able to download Ollama for your Mac, Linux, and currently they have a preview for Windows that is still in beta mod. But I've been using the Mac OS version for a while now, and it's been very stable and fast, so no issues there. It's a one-click download, and you get to choose your operating system. And once you download it, it should be able to install it without any issues. I haven't tried the Windows version yet, but hopefully if you have a Windows, you should be able to run it without any issues. So after you install it, there is no UI or visual representation of Ollama. However, on the top of your screen, you should see a llama icon, and that will tell you the status of Ollama, whether it's running or not. So if you see that icon on top of your status bar in your Mac, for example, or if you're running Windows, probably it'll be showing at the bottom of your screen. So that's just a status indicator. You don't need to do anything with that. So to run Ollama or just to check its status, etc., you can jump to your terminal, and the first thing we're going to do is run this command, Ollama list. And as you can see here, it's listing all the models that I currently have installed and available to me in my Ollama setup. I do have code Ollama. This is a model that allows you to code with Ollama. Another one is DeepSeeker Coder. And the most popular open source, this is the Meta version, Llama 2. This is, I do have the 7 billion parameter model installed. You can certainly experiment with bigger models, the 14 billion, and I think they have even 70 billion. But because of the limitation of my system, I prefer to run, and you may as well prefer to run a smaller version, ideally the 7 billion parameter model. That will definitely run much faster on your computer. Another popular model here is from the French startup called Mistral, and this is their 7 billion parameter model. It's very light. Both of Llama 2 and Mistral are about 4 gig downloads, so it shouldn't take up too much space. And the smallest model I was able to install is Orca Mini. This is, I think this is a 3 billion parameter running roughly 2 gig. And this is an extremely versatile and lightweight model that you can get a lot of good results out of. If speed is your concern, then Orca Mini is one option. We will go over a lot of these in just a minute. But first, let's jump to Ollama's GitHub page. And here we can go over a few things here just to expand our understanding of how Ollama works and some of the considerations that you may want to keep in mind. These are the installation, as I mentioned. It's available on all three platforms, but Windows remain a preview. You can run it on Docker if you want to have this set up as a team server for your organization. That's something you want to consider. Ollama libraries. Quick start to run Ollama and to get started, you basically run Ollama run and then the model name. So let's jump back to our terminal and we're going to type Ollama run and then pick your model. So let's start with Orca Mini. Orca Mini. Here we go. And you can see how quick that was. And I'm just going to type hi. All right, hello, how can I assist you today? That was pretty fast. What is the highest mountain in Maryland, for example? Just a simple question, and you can see how fast this is. All right, Mountain Sligo, 2,964 feet, 891 meters. All right, let's confirm that. Just jump to ChatGPT, for example, here, and we're going to ask the same question. Let's do that. So, exactly the same question right here in ChatGPT. Right, that wasn't expected. We got a different answer. Here we have Backbone Mountain. All right, that wasn't expected. Let's switch to, so I'm just going to hit Control C here, or Control D to end the session, and I'm going to switch and run Llama 2. And again, all this is happening locally without any call to any cloud-based LLM or any of that. So let's ask the same question again. Let's see how long it takes. All right, that's a more elaborate answer. We do have some elaboration here on our question, and that seems pretty accurate to my knowledge. So good job, Llama 2. And as you can see, this is running very smooth, pretty fast. I mean, I haven't really had to wait longer than probably 5 seconds so far. And again, it depends on the complexity of your question. But for the most part, you should be able to get a fairly brief and quick response. My setup here is a MacBook Pro. I don't have the M1 chip version. This is the Intel um, i7, I believe, setup with 16 gig memory, and that allows me to run these models fairly quickly. Let's explore some other options or some other commands available to us. Again, this is a brief list of available models. And another one here that is new to our Ollama setup is Gemma from Google. And this is a 2 billion and 7 billion setup. So if you're curious how you can um, pull and run these models, let's explore that. So the command here, let me first exit out of Llama 2 and let's run Ollama, run Gemma 2b. The model is not there, so it'll first pull it. And this is a 2 gig model, so it shouldn't take long um, to download and run. While waiting for that, let's continue our exploration of Ollama. And this is a very important, a little bit more advanced feature that we will explore in a future video. This is the customization of the model. You can customize the temperature and lots of other parameters. And you can also have a custom prompt. So this prompt will instruct the model to have certain directions each time you run a session. So each time you call the model, then it'll run those instructions and have it customize for your setup. So in this example here, um, we are instructing it to be or to become Mario from Super Mario Bros. And answer as Mario and yeah, something like that. And then when you run the model, it'll say, hello, it's your friend Mario. So yeah, and so some additional commands to pull a model, pull Llama 2, but you can also run Ollama run Llama 2, and that would both pull the model and run it for you. If you want to remove a model, it's pretty simple. Ollama RM, Llama 2, or any model you want to remove, etc., etc. So let's check in on our Gemma 2 billion parameter model still running. And while waiting for that, I would like to also add that your setup can be extended or enhanced by adding a UI. Because many of us are not comfortable running or using the command line. So if that's something you're worried about, there are many options for you to integrate a UI on top of your Ollama. And there are many options here. One option is to create or set up or write a Streamlit app. I will create a video for that in the future. It's very simple. Probably one page of code that would allow you to create a UI. Not as fancy as ChatGPT, but it'll do the job. There are also some open source project that you can use to set up UI on top of Ollama, such as LM Studio. Unfortunately, LM Studio requires M1 or GPU setup to be able to run it. And alternatively, you can use anything LLM, and that's another option to if you have an Intel-based system. And actually, if we look at some additional integrations from the community here, they have a web and desktop section where you can explore some options here to create and set up your own UI for your Ollama, your new Ollama friend. So I think our model here is done installing. So let's go ahead and run it. So that would be Ollama. Okay, alright, so there is some issue here. Okay, so let's try running it again. Let's see what we get. There is still an error. I'm not sure what that is. First time I'm encountering an issue with running a model. That's something to debug. Yeah, so let's run the Mistral model again by the French startup company, which in the recent months have become a true rival of a player in the space, and I've heard of some acquisition or partnership with Microsoft. So Mistral is getting stronger in the space, and I certainly tried some of their models, and they're very efficient and to some degree accurate. So let's run the same question that we've been trying so far. So okay, and the answer is alright. So a different one. Seems like there is some difference of opinion when it comes to the highest summit in Maryland. But again, this is in Appalachian, which is somewhat similar to the answer we got from Llama 2. Yeah, so when you're done, you just say bye, and that will terminate your session. So yeah, that's Ollama. Just a quick introduction. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it informational. I hope this setup will enable you to explore the world of AI and running LLM completely independently on your computer. I have future videos about Ollama to continue this series, such as creating a Streamlit app and creating a UI so you can interact with Ollama in the backend comfortably. Yeah, that being said, thank you so much for listening and watching. I'll see you in the next video, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and take care. Bye.